The developers of Marvel Tōkon have come out of nowhere and give us a full beginner's guide / breakdown for the gameplay of the new Marvel Tag Fighting game. So in this video, I'm gonna try to summarize and give you a full explanation of every single mechanic in the game as fast and digestible as I can. So let's get into it. The first thing that you gotta understand about Marvel Tōkon is that even though it is a 4v4 tag fighting game, it's going to be based on a best of 5 setup with rounds, with only one single health bar, with gauges for assists, EX moves and supers, and you start in the first round with only 2 characters. And the special wall break mechanic that we saw on the first trailer is the way in which you basically unlock your full team. So you're gonna start 2v2, and if you break a wall or also execute a successful throw or specific special moves, it's gonna give you access to a new teammate with a new assist and even a new option to tag in as your leader. So this means that it is a new full fresh take for the tag fighting in genre, and it's going to be a 2v2 going up to 4v4 with a round setup, which is very interesting and very fresh. So I'm really happy that Arxis is taking a risk with this new idea of tag fighting. And as you're seeing on the screen, and I said earlier, we share 1 health bar with our 4 members. Also, we have 3 active gauges to do a specific assist and options with your teammates, and also 150 max EX / super bar. And each level 1 is 50, level 3s are 100, and 25 I think gives you a full EX move. So that is kind of how all the gauges and bar options on the UI work. And one very interesting thing is that the more teammates you add up, you basically end up having more health, and you can also gain a teammate not only by breaking the wall, throwing someone, or by executing specific special moves, but you can also actually shock people into the wall, and you don't need to do a wall break to get a new teammate, which is really big because it means that we're going to be able to mix wall breaking to get a new teammate with also corner pressure. So you're not going to be forced 24/7 to always break the wall to get a new teammate in. So in a nutshell, this is basically team up the game. You need to go and look for situations in which you can add up your assists and get a full team going on to get more health, more options for EX and super special moves, and then try to get into the corner to either put some pressure in your opponent and get and slam into the corner to get a new assist, or just wall break right away and get a teammate that is new in your assist list. So it's going to be a really interesting way of playing a tag fighting game, and it's a super fresh take. So now let's get into more specifics. And now let's talk about the button layout. And as you're seeing on the screen, this game is kind of a mix in terms of buttons of Dragon Ball FighterZ and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, because we have our 3 normals, light, medium, and heavy, just like in FighterZ, and we even have a 2H, you know, your anti-air and also a launcher, just like in FighterZ also. But we also have a specific unique attack move, like in Grand Blue, with special moves for each character that are unique, and we also have buttons to do easy special moves like in Grand Blue. But inputs are still in the game. If you want to do special moves with directional inputs, you can still do it, and they actually do more damage. So it is really obvious that the director of the game is trying to create a mix in terms of buttons in between Dragon Ball FighterZ, which was their biggest tag fighter, and also with the accessibility of Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, which is a pretty good mix. It is pretty interesting as an approach, and I think that is gonna help people to get better at the game very quickly and learn super fast. So it is a very interesting button layout to take into account. And also the game is going to have a ton of options for macros, so you can basically assign a button to dash, to throw people, to use the assist with only 1 button in directions, as I said earlier, to combine normals. There's a ton of options for customization with the controls, so don't feel discouraged about what you see on the screen if you don't understand it, because when the time comes to play, you're basically going to be able to play the game in whatever way you want. It's going to be very flexible. And now let's actually talk about basic options for movement, offense, and defense. In this game, you need to hold back to block, so there is no block button, it seems. So only by holding back, you're going to stop your opponent from hitting you. Then when it comes to the movement, you can walk or dash both in the ground and in the air, and it seems like air dashes are universal mechanics, so it's going to be a very, movement heavy game. And there's also universal mechanics for jumps, like for example double jumps and high jumps. So you're gonna see some crazy stuff when it comes to tournaments and high level gameplay in this game, similar to MBC, and it seems like movement is going to be the name of the game, which is really good. And not only all of that, but also remember how we said earlier that we have light, medium, and heavy attacks? Well, there is even more basic options, because depending on the direction in which you hold the button, you are gonna get new normals. So this game basically has command normals, and if you hold, for example, hold down H, you're gonna get a different jump in that if you only hit H, which is really relevant and is going to give the game more deepness when it comes to regular button options. Now let's talk with a little more detail about the fourth button in the game, which is not light, medium or heavy, but the unique attack button. And this kind of seems like the replacement for what it was Reflect, or also the special button in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and you could also connect it with Granblue because both games have this sort of like fourth button mechanic that is connected to the identity of each character. And in this game, you are gonna get a specific unique attacks for any character that you play when you press the fourth unique attack button, and you can do it with inputs also. So there is going to be multiple special attacks that are exclusive to your character that you can only execute with the unique attack button, similar to, for example, how you executed beams in Dragon Ball FighterZ. So it is a pretty interesting way, and basically is the replacement of the Ki Blast and Reflect button from FighterZ and the specific special button move from Granblue. Now, other basic universal offensive options are the fact that you can use super skills and ultimate skills, which are basically your supers. You can do level 1s with 50 of your gauge, or level 3s with 100, and the level 3 is going to be, you know, your cinematic high damage super. So this means that this is going to be a game in which you have to be worried about that super gauge and see if you use it for EX moves to enhance your special moves, or for damage within your supers, or as reversals. So it's going to be a relevant and very important part of the game, like it happens with the Marvel vs. Capcom or Dragon Ball FighterZ. Another universal offensive mechanic is that we have Autocombos. Like in Dragon Ball FighterZ, it's basically the same. You can use link attacks by pressing only one button in sequence, and it's going to give you a special combos that are automatic. If you do it with L, it's probably going to be, you know, like a low damage Oki combo. If you do it with M, you're gonna get a level 1, and if you do it with H, it's probably going to try and do a level 3 if you have enough gauge. So it's going to be very accessible at the start. We have like one button unique specials, non-motion input supers, and non-motion input special moves, and you also have auto combo. So if you're kind of worried about this game being too hard for you, it's not going to be like that at all. Like the barrier of entry to play this game is going to be extremely low, like what it happens with FighterZ or also with Granblue. So don't worry about it. You're gonna have a ton of fun with this game, even if you don't laugh or learn anything at all. So it's going to be super fun for the tryhards and also for the casual audience. And an early advice, don't forget about the Slam Launcher or the 2H, because it is basically probably going to be like in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and it's going to be a really important button to use as an anti-air or to do big combos. So don't forget about Slam Launcher or 2H. It's going to be very relevant. And now let's actually get into the assist type, because there's multiple assist options in this game. When you choose your characters like we saw on the PlayStation blog, each character is going to have a role, which means that assists are related to the role in which you pick your character, not to each individual character choosing an assist. So if you put one character on the launcher assist, it's going to have a launcher and tier assist independently of the character that is in that slot. So this means that assists are basically universal, and it only matters the slot in which your character is. You can tag in a different leader and fight as them, and basically it's going to take the spot of the assist that you interchange for the leader. So it's going to be relatively, I think, simple and easy to understand which assist is going to be what, but at the start it might be a little too much information to take into account. So if you press the assist button with a different direction, you're gonna get one of the 3 assists that you have available, and also each character actually has a special assist in the air, which is kind of insane if you ask me. Like, we're gonna have 6 assists, 3 in the ground and 3 in the air. It's kind of crazy. It's maybe going to be a lot of cognitive overload at the start, but over time we're gonna get used to it. So it's going to be a really chaotic, high movement, high assist game. Like, it's gonna be super crazy in the screen. And the game has both passive and active tag, which means that you can get a new leader and fight as a new character when you are on neutral, or also tag a character in after they hit an assist. But if your assists get hits by your opponent, you cannot do a tag actively to change your leader. You have to stay with the one you have. So try to not get hit if you want to active tag after an assist. And then lastly, we have a ton of mechanics that work around the assist and your teammates, but without being the regular assist option. So for example, we have specific assists that only work if you use them as extensions of your offense on block or on hit to make a combo, which is Assemble Rush. We also have Assist Smash, which is kind of like a confirmation for a mix-up, and you can do full team-up options depending on how many characters you have. And we also have defensive options with your assists, for example, like Assemble Counter or Crossover. And this kind of work like a parry and also like a counter breaker in KI, because you can kind of like parry your opponent's offense, and also you can counter break in a specific string. But if the opponent knows that you're gonna do a crossover and do that sort of like counter breaker, they can also do it and get a full combo on you if they guess. So this game is gonna have a lot of nuance on defense if you have enough assists to activate all of these mechanics, and it's gonna be pretty crazy. And then of course we have Super Assemble, which are multiple supers. Like in many other tag fighting games, you can do multiple level 1s and use your full meter with 3 different characters to do basically high damage. So this was the full guide. I think that is going to be a really insane game. It seems very fun to play. I'm super excited for it. I want to see more of it at EVO. I hope that they show a couple of new characters. We also saw a couple of alternative skins, so it's going to be really exciting to see the new colors for all characters. And I think that this is probably going to be a huge successful game. It seems very, very easy to play, but also with a really high skill ceiling, which is always a good formula for successful fighting games. So I hope that you enjoyed the video and the guide was useful and the explanations helped you, and see you on the next video, guys.